All right. Hello, world. Thanks for joining us again today. This is going to be our fourth TrueProp Instagram Live. It's been a great series so far. In this series of interviews and live webcasts, we're discussing marine propeller repair, propeller tolerances, and computerized propeller inspection with professional repair shops and repairmen and women and service centers all over the world. So we want to welcome everyone for joining us today. I see a couple people already joining the live, which is great to see some following. And as always, I really encourage you guys to go back and look through our channel, look through our pages at the past interviews we've done. Again, this is going to be our fourth live broadcast today, so there's some good content back in the previous three. And it's going to be a good one today, folks. So we'll be speaking with Gary Linden from Linden Propellers in Dubuque, Iowa. A lot of people in our industry have probably spoken with Gary or heard of Gary. Linden Propellers is located off of the Mississippi River. So it's inland rivers and lakes, a little bit different than kind of the ocean-going stuff that we've touched on in the past. And again, many people have spoken with Gary. He's always very willing to share his expertise and his knowledge, whether it's at the National Marine Propeller Association convention every year or on the phone when people call up with questions or to his own customers. And he has also developed some equipment that he kind of shares with the rest of the industry. So, you know, there's not that many people out there developing tools for the rest of us to use. He's one of these people. And we've been working with Gary since the start of TrueProp. Really, the story goes back to 2015, and hopefully we'll get to tell a little bit of that today. But so besides owning and operating his own repair business, Gary's developed some really valuable tools for the repair industry. That includes his Prop Press 360 and his Linden DDS scan arm, which works with TrueProp Software. And we've seen this press and the scanning arm system running at a couple other locations. Most recently, the interview with Nautic Center, and before that, the interview with CoolBreeze. They were both running the same system that Gary developed, in-house for his own, and then he, resells that out there. So give me a second here. Let's connect with Mr. Linden right now, and hopefully I hit the right button here. So let's see. Gary, invite. And hopefully I sent the right account. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Adam.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Great. Looks like it's coming through. I like the t-shirt.
Yeah, thanks.
So Gary, is this your first Instagram Live?
It is.
Nice. I see you've been practicing a little bit with Danielle tells me she's seen you pop on and off the live a few times. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a bit about your background, your repair shop, and what your business focuses on for propeller repair.
Well, I started the company in December of 1983. It was the height of the recession, and people such as your age and younger probably don't even remember the recession of '83. But Dubuque, Iowa was hit really hard. We have a major manufacturer in Dubuque, John Deere Dubuque Works. And at one time they employed about 9,000 people. And there was also a packing plant, a meat packing plant called Dubuque Packing Company. They employed roughly 3,000 people. Well, when that recession hit, it took the construction industry, and John Deere laid off approximately 6,000 people. The packing company ended up laying off quite a few, and then they ended up closing their doors. So I naturally was one of the welders at John Deere and got laid off. So I always had a passion for boats, and I had a boat myself. So I thought to myself, I got to make a job. So what can I do? And then I started thinking, heck, there's no propeller repair shops around. The marinas in this area all sent them away several hundred miles to get repaired. So I was fortunate enough to have a few bucks saved, and went to some banks and tried to secure some additional funding, and the one bank just laughed at me, asked me if I was nuts. So, well, I don't think I'm crazy yet. I'm not old enough to be there. But whether you help me or not, I'm going to figure out a way to get this done. And I did. I moved forward. It was real hard to get anybody even to accept me into their shop, to help train me. And it was just crazy, And so I figured it all out pretty much on my own. But got going and made it through the recession. Went through several recessions while I've been in business. This year marks
almost 4 decades. It sounds like.
Yeah, I'm 39 years this year.
Wow.
So the 30 and out, I must have missed that somewhere along the line. But anyway, we're here. I love what I do. I'm healthy. I'm able to do it, so I guess I'll just keep on doing it. I look forward to building these equipment that we build for the propeller industry. Always looking for a better way. So that's what brings me here. In 2008, I owe a lot of credit to my uncle Jack, who is a retired engineer, mechanical engineer at John Deere. He was retired at the time, so he seen the way I was trying to straighten these inboard propellers, and he said, "Hey, we got to come up with something different." And so we brainstormed for a couple of years and kicked stuff around, and ended up where we're at today. I got the patent in 2008, actually, and in that year too, it was 2008 was not financially a real good year, but I sold 4 machines, so I think the patent helped sell the machines, and then you out there and people started talking. That's when it kind of really took off. So with that, I've got equipment in Spain and Sweden. We're in Bermuda. We got one in Panama Canal, several in Florida, Chicago, Ohio, Detroit. So I got them in California, scattered around. And now it's time for a lot of these guys are transitioning to our scanning equipment, which we can do the repair and the scanning all in one platform instead of working on it trying to straighten it out and then move it to another table to scan. So that's where we came up with the Linden DDS scanner.
So you started with the prop press system and developing kind of the hydraulics and the mounting for the prop, and then you kind of built the scanner purpose built to drop in on top of the press.
Correct.
Cool.
And that's the big thing, try to reduce labor, and a lot of, there's no sense in trying to heat and beat these things into submission and then have to move it to another table to scan it to see, what progress you made on the repair. So, that's what, we thought gave it a lot of thought and came up with what we got. And then, of course, I needed software to go with it. So I researched quite a few different companies, software developers, talked to them, and thought, I had a lot of empty promises. I don't know whether these people weren't comfortable with the idea. The other softwares that are out there, I was having issues with the stuff I was running, so I didn't want to run down that road. So I thought, hey, these guys at Hydrocomp, pretty sharp. They develop software and they're naval architects. Now let's give Don a call. And so I gave Don a call, and I think we may have talked at a convention, at a time or two. But I thought, who better to have work with me than naval architects, naval engineers, software people, professionals, and you guys got it all. So I know that I was very comfortable that you guys are going to be there, and you have been there for me. We've been working on this since 2015, and you know, it takes people that understand propellers to be able to put the software together, so that we, the people in the shop, can easily understand it. It has to be intuitive, and we have to end up with a good, repeatable process. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think on the software development side, having an understanding of propellers is really critical. And I think even me and you, sometimes we talk in different terms. You know, I'm more on an engineering, naval architecture level, and you're in the shop actually repairing them. So there's been a learning curve there. But to go to a general purpose software house and try and get something developed, you know, they don't know anything about propellers. I see a lot of measurements taken wrong on stuff that people submit. So it's definitely a niche industry. It helps to have a good understanding. You were great in conveying what you needed to kind of achieve your objectives, and then, you know, we've put our own twist on it. And, you know, since then, TrueProp's really grown feature set wise to kind of incorporate all the typical screeds that the repair shops are used to, people running legacy software are used to. But it's also incorporated some new things that, you know, we've worked together with Gary to develop. You know, some of it's come internally from our team, our staff, and, you know, try to draw inspiration where we can and add clarity. But it's been also nice to have something that evolves, you know, not something that's static. And that's what software development's always about. So that's one nice thing about TrueProp. You know, I'll toot my own horn for a second, is that the product is, you know, continuing to evolve and improve, you know, with each subsequent release. And I really enjoy working with you, Gary, to figure out, you know, some of the issues we've been talking about lately about spacing and exclusion and, you know, adjusting the pitch span, you know, plus or minus things. It's been really good. You know, that I hope you feel the same way, that it's been, you know, we're working together to make the product better.
Hey, hey, Jared, we got, if I can interrupt, we're going to have a customer.
Yeah.
Jared's you there?
Yep.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, got to deal with something. Got Jared here. But in the meantime, I'll walk back here in the shop and I'll show you a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, please. A lot of people like to see this stuff.
You know, this is our outboard stern drive section. I've been told that I have probably the largest collection in the country. So they're color coded for location, to find out, you know, I know, rather than look at pitch blocks that are all black with a little bit of white lettering, it's hard to define what's what. These are some mobile racks that we have for propellers that are in for repair.
Those are all in progress.
Right.
Nice.
And this is a pan over here. This is, you know, we do skeg work, do a lot of skeg work. There's a lot of outboard stern drive stuff in this area. Move back through here. These are all different pitch blocks.
Yeah, nice and organized, Gary. It looks great.
Thank you.
I've been to a bunch of shops where they'll be stacked up on shelves, and that's kind of just how they sit. But right. It looks even like I could come in there and go find a pitch block that I needed.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, one of these days I'll get out there. We've got some extended family out in the Quad Cities area.
Oh, cool. So this is my favorite room. We'll start off here. This is the start of our first attempt at building the prop press. It was just an old mill table that we welded some legs on, and Jack developed the upper arch system, and it's pinned, you know, so we can move.
Kind of statically lock it in.
Yeah, move it back and forth. But as you can see, it's a menagerie of hydraulics. And, you know, it was an air over oil pump that, and you see all the cords, return lines, pressure lines, and then constantly have to flip the lever to get one function or another to do.
Yeah, open or close a valve.
Yeah, the bottom cylinder here, that would just move back and forth.
Didn't lock in place or anything.
Yeah, right. The top one would change the angle. But for years, quite a few years, I straightened a lot of propellers with that little cat. You know, I mean, it's I still like it.
That's still a lot more of a tool than a lot of shops have available. You know, not all. You know, some people have some really nice press setups, but again, there's no single manufacturer to go besides yourself. There's really no one else making purpose-built hydraulic straightening systems. You know, maybe one other group of people.
Yeah. So then this is the shop press. This was our build. This is what we use every day. Now I'm working on, well, as you can see, that's a 4-blade stainless, weighs 38 pounds. There's no pitch blocks for these things. And with the transition in the boating industry, you see a lot of these offshore fish boats are hanging 3 and 4 4.25 horse Yamahas or Mercs on them. Some of them have more than that.
Yeah, so you're seeing a lot more like kind of more stainless steel outboards and less of the comparable equivalent inboard bronze props
versus the inboards, right? We still do a fair share of inboards, and that will never go away. But with as things, you know, we've seen a big shift here where guys are getting rid of their 30 and 40 foot carvers, and they're buying these big 28 and 30 foot Bennington pontoons, and they're putting 2 and 3 400 horse outboards on them. And so, you know, the propellers are all stainless. They're heavy. There's no pitch blocks for them. And so, you know, we have to scan them. So with our scan arm, we're able to do that and then feed that information over here to the screen. And
that's great.
We get you know, we can read the propeller. One of my larger dealers, Hawkeye Boat Sales here in Dubuque, when they get a rig like that in, they're a high performance dealer, and I grab the propellers, I'll scan them, and then I'll retain them in our archive here. So if their customer busts one up, at least I got something to go to, fall back, and be able to put it back in shape.
Yeah, because the stamped number on the prop, you know, if it says it's a 16 by 19, you know, it might be 19 in one place, or it might perform like a 19, but when you measure it up, what are you seeing? Basically, the pitch is different all over the blade.
Yeah, well, this particular one here is, what is it, a 20, it's supposed to be 23 pitch. And it's obviously a 4-blade, but the pitch runs anywhere from 21.8 to 22 to 23, actually 23.9, which 24, and one blade is at 24.7. So, you know, and like I said, this is a new propeller. So when the customer comes in and tells you he's got, you know, or they think they got a 23 pitch propeller, they really don't.
Yeah.
And you know, when you measure it in total measurement there, it comes up 22.6. But as you can see on the scale, it's pretty low on a couple and really high on one.
Yeah, interesting.
So in some of these cases, when we're talking about 3 and 4 blade or 3 and 4 motors on a boat, you start stacking them, then there can be issues with RPM variations.
Gotcha. Where like left versus right, you're a little bit of RPMs off because one's supposed to be at 23, it's 22.6. The other one's 23 and a quarter. So you're up and down. Sure, makes a lot of sense. So you can use TrueProp to tune the left and the right, basically to the same profile. They go ding it up. They can come back. You can tune it back to that same profile, and that's everyone would love to have that data, you know, but you got to take it before they encounter a problem, so you have something to reference.
Right. And new out of the box, you know, I've even seen some high performance lab stuff that's nowhere near what it says, and you kind of look at how they're coming up with these numbers, you know, how does the boat run like it does, you know, and explain that to your customer. He doesn't really have a 24, he's got a 22, you know. But
On our end too, back at Hydrocom, when people are giving us numbers and they're asking for us to size new wheels or recommend a new engine, getting a scan of the propeller actually tells us a much better story, a much more complete story than whatever the propeller's stamped as. And,
Right.
Sometimes we had cases too where, the propeller was stamped accurate. Let's say, it was stamped at 24 and it measured up at 24. But when we look at the scan, we can see that it was actually originally like a 22 or something, and they brought it up to a 24 previously. So if we had, that would change our recommendation. If they needed more pitch, we wouldn't want them to pitch a 22 up to like a 26.
Right.
So when we see the scan, we kind of see, in the root of the blades, you can't really change what it was. So we can kind of see what that prop was and then how it might have been reworked. And that can tell us, whether we, can rework the prop further, got to undo some of that. It just helps us make more informed adjustments. I imagine that's true pretty much across all, whether it's a repair shop, the boat owner, the operator, the engineers, we all want to have accurate data.
Right.
So yeah, that's something we get and work on with the rest of the industry at the convention and stuff like that. I don't think we'll change anything overnight, but the stamp pitch is never the full story.
Right. Yep. So, but with the with TrueProp software, I'm able to look at it, understand what's going on, and if I need to make a change in RPMs or something, like we had a big formula with triple 400s that were mismatched on the tack, and the guy was pretty fussy about, adamant that we get it straightened out. And this was a brand new set, so I ended up changing the pitch, like maybe an inch of pitch on the one and maybe a half inch on the other one, and got it all. Anyway, it worked out real well.
Those are good. I'm glad to hear it's another successful story there. Good. So most of your customers, they're coming in, they're looking for, whether it's the boat dealer or not, they're either templating new propellers, tuning new propellers. You got repair work. So are you giving your customers the reports to take home, or?
Yeah, in most cases, what I'll do is I'll scan it, and then I will send the file to the customer. If we can't scan it while he's here, if we got this busy, then I'll scan it and I'll send them the reports, and then I'll call them, and then we'll talk about what issues and what needs to be done to to the propeller. But most cases, our customers, they're looking for a propeller. Number one, it's going to run smooth, it's going to perform, and not vibrate.
So what class are you repairing to typically?
We do all of them to a class 1.
Yep.
Unless it's something small, and maybe it's a work boat or a little push boat. We got a lot of them around here, and these dredges, and we'll do them to a 2. But for the most part, like on the outboard stern drive stuff or the small ski boats, we do them to A.
Yep. So the class 1A is just like a class 1, but we omit the 95% radius because on most propellers it's about 3/4 of an inch wide or an inch wide. So
right,
kind of hard to make any adjustments on it.
Right.
And that's something that's a feature kind of in TrueProp that's really been directly something that we've developed with you, right?
Right. Yep.
That's good. And
I know that you mentioned earlier in the talk here that I'm trying to relate to you, you're trying to relate to me. You're an engineer, software, pro, and I, only thing I know is I make the propeller straight and make it read what we want it to read.
Yeah, you're very humble. Yeah, very humble. But you've seen a lot, I think, and I think your press system and the scanning arm is just a really great system. The people who have it talk about it all the time, and they're happy to reach out to us and do these types of interviews and show off their machines and their capabilities. So,
right. Well, I appreciate that. I'm going to take you over and show you one that we're building right now for Larry.
Yep.
coming
I
along.
think Accutech's in here actually, so he'll get a little sneak peek at his.
I'm sure he is, eh? Um, there's the scan arm. We can just there's a hook that'll come down, load into this hook arm here, and pulls it right up. It's well balanced, so when you pick it up off the propeller, disengage it, you can move it. My helper's back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nice.
Just pick it up and move it out of the way.
Yeah, right out of the way. That's a lot easier than picking up the whole prop, whether you're heaving it or using a gantry crane or something. I mean,
Right. So, and with this too, if they had another table that maybe one of their guys was tweaking,
yeah.
tweaking a propeller, maybe have another stand behind it, 360 degrees away or 90 degrees away, drop it down, they can both be working at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, that's really clever.
So, with that idea in mind, they would probably have to have it, I don't know, maybe an AD switch, or you're the electrical engineer there, a way to transport that information from one propeller to another.
Very cool.
Maybe we need another DAQ box or whatever. But that's my idea with moving forward.
That is really cool that you could potentially leave it on that little gantry crane there, and they could use it on the press. They could go use it on a table. That's cool. What's the diameter support for this one? This one looks a little bigger than the other arms I've seen.
This will reach out to a 60-inch.
Nice. Cool.
And then, of course, I don't have the dog leg on it or anything, but you can put the dog leg to the right and capture another couple inches. Or
Very cool.
measure down, you can probably be able to scan for sure an 18-inch diameter and possibly even 16-inch diameter propeller at the 50% radius line.
Yeah, because you can move the drop rod back so close into the. That's good.
There's no slop, no deviation, no accumulated error that can be developed. The thing that's most important is that we locate off the center line of the propeller through a tapered shaft. And when you're on that true center line, that's how the propeller was designed, and that's the best information you're going to get.
Yeah, it mimics exactly what's on the boat, like the boat shaft coming out. It's got the similar taper on there, so the prop's going to sit on that just like it sits on your table.
I know some of the guys that I've talked to are talking about, hey, why can't we use a stainless steel shaft? Well, you can, but when you start getting bully with the hydraulics, you're going to bend that shaft. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you bend that shaft down here at the base, because it's still running on the center line. So you still get a true measurement.
Yep, gotcha. Because the way the taper fits inside the prop, sure, that makes sense.
Right. So you could hang it upside down if you.
Yeah. As long as it's in the prop, and as long as the taper, yeah, that's cool.
Yep. And that's critical. That's been huge, because like years ago, the system I was using worked off cones, and we could never get anything to eat. You'd be chasing your tail.
Yeah, we see it also we try to import like CAD models from laser scanners. It's just another thing that TrueProp supports. And so if the 3D model is even slightly off, which is like the same thing if you use cones, and it's just slightly off, you actually see it pretty obviously in the pitch readings and also in the rake. So it is a big problem. Definitely gives you a lot of peace of mind eliminating alignment as an issue.
On this machine, we're doing a wireless remote for Larry, and there's still quite a bit of wiring that needs to be done here yet. Jared can peek around and show you. We're running everything, the DAQ box in here, and there's going to be some latching relays up here. There's the power transfer source, and everything is going to come into this. The encoder wires drop into here, and everything's going to be a nice, neat, clean install. The only thing he'll need is, I think we got about a 20-foot USB printer cable to go to the computer. So
yeah, that should be pretty easy to find.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got it ordered. So that's kind of where we're at with it. I know Larry's anxious to get it, and
yeah,
and we got another one to build, so we're anxious to come out east and see you guys.
Yeah, I can't wait. So probably within the next month or so, right? I don't know for sure, but whenever you get out here, we'll be making the time to come visit.
Right. Make sure you don't have any snowstorms. We'll be out.
Yeah, hopefully we're done with snow. It's actually raining outside right now. Yeah, let's hope winter's over. It's time to get the boats ready and put them in the water out here. Well, great. Gary, looks like we're hitting that 30-minute time limit that we talked about. So I'm ready to start wrapping up. But is there anything else you want to go through at all real quick?
No,
Not even real quick. If you want to go through anything, let's go through it.
No, I think I pretty well understand what's going on with the program and software and that. Of course, you're always coming up with new things and changing it. And so I'm sure that I know that there are options in there that we're not using, we're probably not even aware of that you have in there. And I'm looking forward to looking at all that stuff.
Yeah, the 2022 version. Really excited to get that into your hands and everyone else's hands, and see the feedback on some of the new stuff we've been working on. It's been a great journey, and you know, we look forward to kind of accommodating more and more users. So, Gary, thank you for your time and you know, sharing your shop and telling us about your machines. So if anyone here is interested in Gary's prop press or his scan arm that comes with TrueProp, we encourage you to contact Gary. Gary, do you want to give them your website or email or?
Yeah, the website is lindenpropeller.com. You can reach us there. My email address is there, phone number as well. So, and I want to thank HydroComp, you, yourself, John, Jill.
Yeah.
Worked with me since 2016 to get this off the ground. I owe a lot of thanks to my Uncle Jack. He's chief engineer behind a lot of this stuff, and we knock heads together and try to come up with a good product for the industry.
Yeah, you guys are building a great system, and it's helping a lot of people in the industry, you know, just have options, first of all, but also like some really high quality equipment that's going to save their backs and their arms, and, you know, gets accurate scan data, produces beautiful reports. It's really helping push things forward. So for TrueProp, you guys can reach out to us if you have any questions about anything you've seen today or our past webinars. Feel free to reach out via Instagram. Our email is measure@truepropsoftware.com. The website's truepropsoftware.com. And yeah, so thanks everyone for their time. Thank you, Gary. And again, if anyone's interested on how TrueProp might be able to connect to their device, reach out to us and we'll tell you a little bit more.
Thank my son Jared. He's the IT guy, so he's helped me here today.
Yeah, it's great. I need an IT guy. I need someone to help film me, so I can walk around and wave my arms. But actually, it's probably best that we don't do that. Someone could get hurt. All right. Hey, Gary, thanks again. And I look forward to talking to you soon. We'll get to the latest version, get your feedback, and looking forward to seeing you in person when you get to deliver this next machine out here.
Great. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. And I appreciate everyone who tuned in.
I need attendance.
Cheers.